What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the Tutorial Boss Guapo, and joining me tonight is the man that said, Randy, calm down. It's just a snake. It's okay. The one and only Rick Elzy. Rick, what's up, brother?
Oh, not much, man. Not much. Just looking forward to talking some wrestling tonight.
You and me both, man. And it's been a good week for wrestling. Before we get into it, let me go ahead and get my thank yous out of the way. Thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for our intro-outro music. Track's called Head Rush, album's called Monsters. They have got some really cool stuff going on. I visited their website myself today, and we've got some new members. We've got new music coming out. You can check it all yourself at labor12.com. That's www.laborxii.com. Thank you to Joe and American Legacy for our awesome merch. Of course, we've got our hats, our skull caps, our beanies. We've got shirts incoming. May 10th, we will have bandanas ready for you to buy. So be looking for that. Thank you to J-Rebs 3D Printing. See this little piece of awesome right here? That is a J-Rebs 3D Printing original. My boy Cameron hooked it up for us. If you have a logo you'd like to get into a light box like that, get a hold of Cameron at jrebs3dprinting.com. Thank you to heckyeahradio.com for allowing us a spot on their website. If you happen to miss the show, what shame. But if you did, you can always go to heckyeahradio.com, click on the Not Your Average Mark button, and listen to an audio version. Thank you to Blind Ambition Studios for all our awesome graphics. WrestlingSociety.com for including us in their podcast room. And of course, the one who makes all of this work. Patrick, appreciate everything you do. If you haven't done it yet, check out the job he's done on our website, www.notyouraverage.mark.com. You can get bios, merch, calendar. There's all sorts of stuff on there. It's a good website. And most recently, we've put together a Discord. After the podcast tonight, check out the About section of our Twitch or any of our socials, and you can get a link to the Discord. Join up, check it out. We do watch-alongs. We do Raw. We do SmackDown. Hell, we even had a WrestleMania watch-along. It was a good time. Rick, you're always there for it. We enjoy having you there. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you check out our Discord. And now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's talk some wrestling. We'll kick it off with some main roster moments, starting in SmackDown. I would just like to say that the John Cena, Randy Orton segment at the beginning of SmackDown was an absolute masterclass. I was so impressed with the way they went at each other, the flow of it, the building anger between them both. I loved every minute of it.
I was wondering where it was going at first because getting into the whole you just need to have kids thing, I was kind of like, I don't really know where this is going, but whatever. I'm here for it, But I do think it's funny that Cena was like, "Don't parent shame me," that's hilarious. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I loved his response to it. You need to have some damn kids. How dare you? Yeah. Child. How dare you parent shame me? You've got kids. Good for you.
I spent my whole career raising yours. That was great. Yep. That was great.
It was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. And it ends up with a match at Backlash. We get Orton versus Cena at Backlash, and
I'm surprised we're getting this. I'm surprised that this is happening this fast.
I am too, honestly, but you put the belt on John Cena, you've got to have the big matches. And let's face it, we knew at some point we were going to get Cena Orton.
I just thought that was going to be the
last year.
I thought it was going to be I thought that would be the final match. I mean, because they're Savage Hogan, they're Austin Rock. And so it's like, I really thought that was going to be Cena's last match. Now I'm thinking Cena's last match might be with Cody.
I think either Cody or Punk.
Yep, I could see that.
Before I go any further with this, I do want to say what's up to Jello, what's up to J-Rev. You're right, got the guns out tonight. Mike with BCW Texas, what's up? And as far as the shirt, Rock Show Road Crew, showing some love to 94.5 FMX. So let's start getting into it. I think one of my favorite things about this promo was the idea that Cena put out that Orton would be frozen at 14 title wins. His legacy, his father's legacy, and his grandfather's legacy will be erased the minute Cena takes that title home. Damn.
Nice buzzwords and nice picture painting, but the math doesn't math in that statement. I don't like the fact that Cena's trying to claim that if you can't win this one, you've got to start back at 1, because Cena's 17 includes wins of 2 separate world championships. And I mean, are you going to tell me that Gunther and Rollins and that those guys didn't hold a world title? So I mean, Seth's number is still going. So if even if Randy Orton never beats Cena, if he beats Jay, he's going to get another world title. So I just thought that was kind of messed up that Cena would, because I'm like, how do you support that? You can't support that. That's a weird thing to say.
It was kind of weird. I like the fact that they planted that seed now.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, the imagery is fine. The imagery is fine. It's just there's no logic to what you just said. So. And we're in a logic era right now. Like everything means something. So it's like, don't say something nonsensical in a time when everything means something.
Well, after we get through that, we get treated to a great tag team match with the debut of Fraxium on SmackDown. I have got to see them against the Motor City Machine Guns. Can you imagine the speed of that match?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good match. It is absolutely going to be a good match. I personally have no investment in Fraxium. I know they have good matches. I know that they're great soldiers. There's nothing about them that makes me get excited. I mean, I'm good for them. Good for them. It's always nice to have a good hand, but I don't ever see them main eventing WrestleMania. They're not going to have an Uso Owen Sammy moment. That's.
I mean, you're coming out with the shots early today.
Look, Nathan Frazier on his own, great. A-Kid, Axiom, whatever you want to call him, great. Together, great matches. But it's kind of a lot like, I mean, Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. These are all really good wrestlers, but they're just, I'm not excited. They don't excite me. They just don't.
I get that. And they're not for everybody. It's not a secret. I'm completely excited about the fact that WWE bought AAA, because I've always been a fan of the cruiserweights. Like, I know we don't do weight divisions anymore, and I understand that, but I've always been a fan of the cruiserweight division. And these guys and Motor City Machine Guns, you put them in the ring together, and I'm back in, 97, 98 watching cruiserweight division wrestling, and I'm excited about it.
Well, you could if you're going to have all these luchadors and you've got all these, I guess what Kevin Nash would call vanilla midgets. If you've got all these people that are doing their thing, I mean, graduate Speed from the Twitter show and give it an hour on Netflix on a random night and just let all these cruisers go at it. I mean, whatever, it's fine with me.
No, I'm for it. I want to see it. I don't know what it is about the cruiserweight division. I have always the speed of it, like moving, the way they move in the ring, the way that they're able to interact with each other at that speed. I've always thought was cool.
And I mean, well, since I'm already kind of knocking it out of the park with my comments, I'll just go out and say it. I'll say it. I don't care about Lucha. I don't care. I've never cared. Penta's fun. He's got a fun character. I like him a lot better than Ray Phoenix because to me, like Penta is over the top as a character. I like that. But I don't care about lucha wrestling. I don't care about Japanese wrestling. I don't care.
I get that. It's not for everyone. I mean, that's the beauty part of wrestling, though, is there's
Mm-hmm.
something out there for everyone. You don't have to like everything, but there will be something out there for you. That's what I love
Oh,
about
yeah.
professional.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't begrudge anybody what they like. I'm just telling you that I could care less. So,
So I'm looking over at the chat, Mikey's saying this going back to the Cena Orton promo. With the same logic, Cena has one less because Punk took the title after that Money in the Bank, and Cena won the next one from Ray when Punk took that title away.
there you go. There you go. Yeah,
Right.
somebody put that out. Hashtag connect Randy to that on Twitter. Somebody tell him that so that he can use that in a promo. That's good stuff, Mike. Way to remember.
Randy, we got some stuff for you. I love it.
Mike's been eating member berries.
Yes, he eats the member berries. Member berries.
I love South Park. Leave me alone.
So Tiffany Stratton, Tiffany versus Jade. This was a good surprise. Like I was not expecting that. What I was expecting was Nick Aldis to come out and be like, no, we're not doing this. Because that's what Nick Aldis does. We keep it professional around here. But no, he let it go, and here comes the ref, and let's go.
And they did good. They did good. It was fun.
A really, really good match. I kind of figured Naomi would come out in that match, so I wasn't real surprised by that. But then here comes Nia Jax, and I'm like, oh, hey, wait a minute. So she's reinserting herself into this story, and good. I'm glad because her current run with WWE is by far her best work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm looking over the chat. I can remember the long-term stuff, but can't remember what I walked in the kitchen for. You know what, Mike? I'm there with you, bro. I am. I was talking to Lilith Blood just the other day about how, I can't remember which wells which satellite I'm on as far as shooting fluid levels in my shoot job. But you play some 90s rock and I will sing every lyric. I can't explain it. I like that they, instead of setting up a triple threat or this is what we're going to do at Backlash, I like that they set up a contenders match between LA Knight and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And it was a good one. Like, it was a good match. We'll talk about it here in a minute because we're not quite to that one yet. But I like that they're getting to that point. What, you want to go at this guy? So do you? All right, cool. We'll have a match tonight. Whoever wins, you get it.
I'm all for anything that Knight and McIntyre can do together. I think they have great chemistry. They play off each other really well. So I would be down for a longer feud between those two.
As would I, because let's face it, Drew McIntyre is one of the best trolls in WWE, and LA Knight can work Mike against anybody.
Yeah.
So I think a long program between those two is going to be a good thing. Zelina Vega finally got a belt. I'm so happy for her.
And I love that for her. I think it's great. It's gonna be interesting to see, where she goes with it now, because my favorite thing is, what's next? What do we do now? We pulled the trigger. What's the plan? I hope you have one. But did you notice that Chelsea posted a picture of a flag at half-mast and said she was going away?
She did.
She's taking a vacation. I think that's great. Good for her. Good for her.
Well, and the thing I love about this is you can give Zelina Vega this win. Finally give her the title she's been fighting for since she's been in the WWE. And you're not hurting Chelsea's character in the least.
No, because Chelsea figured it out. She's one of those people like The Miz. She gets it. She knows what sells. She knows what makes her look better, and she can work within any situation you hand her, and she's going to come out looking better on the other side. She gets what the business is.
She does. And that's the beauty part of it, because what did 90% of the wrestling community look for as soon as Zelina Vega won the title? What was everybody looking for? Where's that Chelsea hot mess meltdown?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even losing the title, people are like, I can't wait to see it what Chelsea does when she loses the title. Which we did not get the meltdown. I did see some footage that WWE put out later where she got up and was like, okay, we can go to the back. Where's my belt? And Alba Fire kind of points to Zelina Vega, and Chelsea goes, what? And then faints. So it was,
yeah, it was good. She's really good at what she does, and she's one of those people that I really enjoy watching, because I know that no matter what they give her, no matter what the outcome's going to be, she's entertaining, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yep. And she is by far one of my favorite female talents in any promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking about Zelina Vega, let's go ahead and talk about somebody else. Welcome back, Aleister Black.
Yes. I was really, really excited that he came back, but I think I loved even more that it was Miz, and I would be willing to bet. I would put serious money that Miz is the one who raised his hand and said, I'll be happy to do that.
And with that, I have no doubt that you're right about that, because the Miz is that guy. He's not him, because that's his partner, but he is that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the fact that, when Aleister Black comes out, everything's very dark. Everything's very, black clothes. And so the Miz wore white to offset that, to show that clash. And that's just genius. That's
what, when you understand the business, that's the stuff you do.
See, and Mike said this, and I was just about to talk about it. I saw a side-by-side earlier this week of his debut, Aleister Black's debut in AEW versus his debut this past Friday. And it was Cody and Miz, and they both got kicked in the face. I mean, and both of them in nice suits and all that. So it was kind of a cool way to go around. So I'm happy to have Aleister Black back.
I love that he got his old entrance. I love that they got his music right. Just a great overall re-debut. I'm excited to see what they do with him.
I am too, and I noticed that I think they're kind of gonna go down the same road they were going with him before, because you notice he didn't have eye makeup, any of that stuff. So I think they're kind of dropping right back where they were. Putting the needle right back in the record groove of where they left off.
I almost wish that he would have gotten up off of the raised up off the thing, and then walked to the door and opened it and come out of the same room he was in for half a year before he left. Yeah. I think that would have almost been hilarious if he just came out of that one room.
We've got Jello saying Bloodfest going on in TNA right now. What are you talking about, Jello? What Bloodfest is going on in TNA right now? We've also got Mike saying he's still selling the eye injury from 2020. 2020 was just a hard year, okay? Just leave him alone. 2020 was rough, okay? No, I'm excited. Aleister Black is a great talent, and having him back in WWE television is great for him. So the ending to the see, I did it again. I said Drew Knight. The LA Knight Drew McIntyre match was crazy. Of course, Solo came out, and then Damian Priest came out, I mean, the whole thing was crazy. So there's, people I've heard say in the internet whining community, as you've deemed them, I've heard them say, can we just get a match where we don't get interference? Why has every match got to be? Do you realize the number of directions they can go with this now?
Yeah.
Like,
there's so much they can do, man. There's so many things they can do.
And I hope they do. I mean, that's their tag team name. Drew Knight. Drew Knight is their tag team name. Good call, J-Rev. Good save.
Their tag team. They should call them Mac and Knight.
You said Mac and Knight. So
or McIntyre.
At some point, I'm going to put it out here for everybody, but they had a little bit of a feud a while back, and I made that very same mistake. I called him Drew Knight, and I caught hell in the chat for it. So the very next day, I put on my LA Knight shirt, I put on my glasses. If I had a kilt, I'd have put it on, but I don't have one, so I didn't put one of those on. And I cut a promo as Drew Knight, Scottish accent and all. He ended up with the whole, I'm Drew Knight. So yeah, one of these days I will put that out there. So that brings us to our main event, the TLC triple threat match, and holy hell, that was a good match.
It was. I was shocked that they did so much on free TV with it.
When was the last time you saw a TLC match that wasn't on PLC or PLE?
Didn't they do one? Didn't they do one with Benoit and Jericho as a team right around the time that Triple H had right around the time that they were doing the 2-man power trip? Didn't they do something with where Benoit and Jericho did one on Raw?
Yep.
I think they did.
That one, and then there was the final. I don't know if it was the final one, but there was on SmackDown. There was a TLC between the inventors of the TLC, the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian.
Oh.
And that one was on SmackDown, and
it's definitely not something they do all the time. So,
we had like this match had everything. It had tables, it had ladders, it had chairs, it had prosthetic legs, it had everything. That was by far my biggest pop of the night. Was Tez walking over, and this guy's like, "Here, take my prosthetic leg," and Tez is like, "Yeah, we're doing that." And he takes the leg and he hits somebody with it, throws it back to him. Awesome moment.
It was good. It was good. That dude will remember that forever.
Exactly.
That's immortalized on video, man.
And so this is so much more than I was expecting out of this match. Like, I'm not the biggest DIY fan, but they did a good job. The Motor City Machine Guns sold everything well. Tez and Dawkins, they doing the whole "we want to smoke" thing. Like, it was a PLE level match. Like, that could have very easily been on a PLE and been just fine. But we got.
How long did they go? Do you remember how long they went?
42 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, 42 minutes.
I'm sorry, 32 minutes.
32 minutes. Okay. The New Day War Raiders match was 9 minutes at WrestleMania. And everybody was like, "Oh, we should have put that TLC match in there." Mm-hmm. So tell me what other 20 minutes they were going to cut off of Mania for that match.
No, I agree with that. And to stick with your thoughts of what's next, if you put all of your big stuff on Mania, what do you do on Raw? What do you do on SmackDown?
I mean, look, that match was absolutely the draw of that show.
Oh yeah.
You know, and there were probably people who watched SmackDown that maybe wouldn't have watched it otherwise because they knew there was going to be a TLC match on the show.
Yeah. And
sometimes you got to save stuff because you have other programming.
and Triple H talked about that in his WrestleMania post conference. He's like, I hear all the time, why isn't this on Mania? Why isn't that on Mania? I've got 2 other shows. I've got a Raw to do the next day. I've got SmackDown on Friday. I can't give you everything on one night.
No, and you shouldn't.
Jello says, Rick, don't confuse us with logic.
I mean, I know that's a rough pill for wrestling fans to swallow, but I don't know how to help you.
Well, looking over at the chat, Mikey saying Ford climbing the side of the ladder was pretty inventive. I thought so. I thought that was really cool. I think when Tez got put in the ladder and got the kick from Gargano, that looked really, really good too.
I really thought like that whole last minute of the match, there was a moment in that minute where I literally thought each team was going to win.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really well done. I would really like to know who the producer for that match was and I would like to find out if they literally came up with that finish or if that finish was a collaboration between all of the guys in the match, because whoever came up with that finish, bravo. It was a good finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Mikey asking, do you think he got his leg signed after the show? I hope he did. I hope that guy got his prosthetic leg signed after the show. J-Rev saying those tickets cost an arm and a leg. That explains the prosthetic. He got his money's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
A solid A for me for SmackDown.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that really it was a very, very easy show to watch.
Hayes is the finish guy now. I can go with that. Before I get into Raw, of course, if you haven't done it yet, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat has, but if this is your first time watching or your first time listening, if you haven't done it yet, head out to our socials, click all the things, click the likes, the follows, the subscribes, all the things, because crazy things happen when you do that. For one, it helps our algorithm. It helps us get out to more people. It helps us know where you guys are watching. And when you do the following thing and the subscriber thing, then Guapo gets in the ring and does stupid shit. As for instance, next Saturday, May 10th at BCW Head Games, I will be during intermission live taking a perfect plex from Damian Blood. And every time I say that, I get the same reaction. He just shakes his head. But yeah, that happens with the likes and the follows and such. So keep those coming, and I'm going to try to survive next Friday.
Just don't get a hold of me in the next couple of days and be like, I have no idea why my back hurts. Don't do that, because I'm gonna tell you that you're an idiot. That's why your back hurt.
J-Rab asking, is that streamed? The show is not streamed, but I will have somebody on our socials streaming it. We'll Facebook Live it. So you'll be able to see it, I promise. That takes us into Raw. The opening Raw with Seth Rollins is good. Opening Raw with Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn is great.
Yeah.
I really like the way they set that up, because you lost the whole Seth Rollins. Look, man, you're my friend, and this is the direction we're moving, and I don't want you to get hurt. Things got very serious for a minute, and I like that. I feel like this is where we're going to start moving away from that laughing, I wear all of Becky's clothes, Seth Rollins. and get back
Well,
to the Messiah.
he's still wearing some pretty outlandish clothes. Um,
Baby
I
steps.
have never griped about the clothes. I've always been like, dude, whatever you want to do is great. Have fun. You look like you're having a blast. But those glasses with the eyes on them, that's got to go. That's got to
Yeah,
go.
those
That
those
was
weirded me out, man.
creepy. Those were creepy and unsettling, and I hated every second they were on camera. Hated it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those particular glasses.
No, that awful, 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 terrible.
Well, I
Oh
like
no.
I like the direction they went with this because they offered Sami Zayn an opportunity. These how did Seth put it? He said, "If I know I can't get you to buy in to what we're doing, so maybe I can cash you out. Go to SmackDown. Go to SmackDown so nothing bad happens." And then, of course, later on in the night, Paul Heyman's like, "Look, if you go to SmackDown, if you take the deal that's being offered you, you get whoever wins out of Cena Orton," knowing full well that Sami Zayn has been after a world title.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It was a nice carrot dangling moment.
it was. And it's a figure of speech. Y'all don't be nasty. Don't be nasty on my podcast.
Okay. Is your main audience 13?
You know, some of them, you've met some of them. Come on.
Well, that's true. That's true. Okay, that's true.
Just kidding. I love all you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mommy versus Roxanne Perez was a match I didn't know I needed, but oh, did I. I'm so impressed with Roxanne Perez and the way she stood toe to toe with Rhea Ripley and the way Rhea put over the stuff that she was doing. Like, I was really, really impressed by that.
I felt like Rhea was just wrestling a wrestling buddy, a stuffed pillow, because Roxanne is so tiny compared to Rhea. She's just so small. I don't really notice that she's small until she gets next to people that just tower over her, and Rhea Ripley towers over her.
Yeah.
But the match was good, and I like it. And I would like for them to go ahead and just call Roxanne up already. Just get her on the main roster. I don't know why we're still hopping back and forth with her. If they're, I mean, because look again. I don't mean to double down on poor Fraxium, but if you're going to bring Fraxium up, who really, other than the fact that they're good wrestlers, really bring nothing to the table. If you're going to bring Fraxium up, can we please go ahead and bring Roxanne, because at least she has a character and a personality.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Of course, we got our Julia interference because you knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
And I like the fact that it sets up a tag team match at Backlash, because that tag team match is going to be absolute fire.
Have they already announced it, or are we just putting one in one? Or are we just doing arithmetic?
I think we're just putting 2 and 2 together. See what I did there?
Okay. I mean, I could see that. I mean, I could definitely see Rhea and Io versus Julia and Roxanne.
I feel like that's what we get, and I'm here for it. Make it happen. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. I'm not sure how I feel about this as a first title defense at first, but having some time to think over it, my grandson in the background, having some time to think over it, I think this is a good thing. Okay.
I love it. I love
it. Hold on. Talk to them about that.
Okay. Here's the reason why I love Logan Paul versus Jey Uso as a first title defense. So many wrestling fans have been down on Jey Uso becoming champion. What is the best way to rally fans around a guy that they've been lukewarm on as far as him getting the belt? Put him against a guy that everyone universally despises. So it's an immediate pop for Jey, No one wants Logan Paul to win, which
No.
makes the match exciting because you know they're going to tease Logan Paul winning a few times, which is going to make people cringe the whole time. And Jay's going to go over huge. It's the perfect match at the perfect time for the perfect reason. There's not a single element, in my opinion, of this match that is not top tier decision making.
He agrees. No, I do agree with that. I think that like the more I had time to sit and marinate on it, the more I think this is absolutely the best move. It's going to be a good match because as much as I don't like Logan Paul, he's never put on a bad match since he's been in WWE. So it's going to be a great match.
And he doesn't have to be a great human being. He doesn't have to be a great human being. Okay. He's respectful of the business. He busts his ass when he's in there. He takes pride in the way that he works. And I've heard nothing but him being agreeable and a good listener. So he gets it. He understands that more times than not, he's going to lose. He gets that. So, it's not a problem. And I think that people that are getting bent out of shape about it, they need to check their fake outrage at the door, because I would be another bet I would put money on. Just as many people who are upset about Logan Paul, getting a shot at Jey Uso, probably also think Benoit needs to go into the Hall of Fame. So, whatever.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that match. The War Raiders versus Judgment Day. First off, glad to see JD McDonough back and fit for
absolutely. Yeah.
Like I was concerned about him for a minute because that is you fall back and puncture a lung and break ribs. I mean, it's a little worrisome.
And then to get up with a broken ribs and a punctured lung and still do a moonsault.
Yeah, like it's
ridiculous.
Crazy. That couldn't have done anything good for him.
No, JD McDonough deserves every good thought you can give him. He's awesome.
I enjoyed the match. Having New Day at ringside was fun. Having I think was it Finn? I don't remember whether it was Finn or JD being thrown at the New Day. That was pretty fun. Of course, we get Penta come out. There's a Penta Judgment Day rivalry incoming. Like I don't think there's any question about it.
Very, very possibly. I do have a quick thought that I'd like to get your opinion on. Okay. There was a lot of this talk about a new Judgment Day member, and Finn doesn't want one, Dom wanted one. And if you look at the group itself and everybody that's in it, there's one wrestler type, an element type of athlete that's missing from the Judgment Day. They don't have a Tank. They don't have a Monster.
They don't. That's true.
Well, here comes Jeff Cobb.
Yes, and also yes.
And I really do believe Jeff Cobb is going to be the new member of Judgment Day.
And I hope he is, because that's an immediate, just big story for him. Mikey in the chat saying Rusev, but I think they're going to go a different direction. I think they're going to go the Redeemer,
Rusev talked about rebuilding people and making people better. I could totally see him picking up the pieces of a destroyed Judgment Day, but I don't think that he'd be the new member that would try to pull them together. I think a Cobb, whether it would be Dom bringing him in or Finn bringing him in, Jeff Cobb would come in as the thing that tried to unite them, but ultimately drove them apart. And then once you had pieces of the Judgment Day, then you could have the Redeemer come in there and try to fix everything.
See, and I kind of hope that's the direction they go. But one thing I'm wondering about, before we get to to Jeff Cobb, do we end up with the Lucha Bros versus Finn and JD?
I mean, we could. We absolutely could. There's no reason why we can't.
I would be here for it. I'm just trying to say. That takes us into Becky coming out and saying, "Oh, by the way, just so there's no murder mystery about it." You want to beat up Bailey. Automatic booze when she did that. Lyra
But
Valkyria.
did you hear what she said about Bailey? I mean, Becky, you want to talk about taking some shots. Becky took some shots, man. The whole,
Oh, yeah,
why
she did.
aren't I a bigger star? Why aren't I a bigger star? That is right. That comes right on the heels of that CVV interview
Yep.
where Bailey said she didn't feel like she was on the level of Becky or Charlotte. So they're listening and they're using real stuff. So you know Becky Bailey is going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be insanity. What I did like about this is when Lyra came out, she looked solid going at Becky on the mic and in the ring. Like this is
She did.
Before WrestleMania, I said that she's not quite there. She's good, but she's not quite there. This is a perfect example of how you get somebody there.
She looked far more focused. She looked far more serious. I did like this version of Lyra a little bit better.
I do. I think this is going to be good. And speaking of people that I like to see, Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have her on the main. That's exactly how I feel about it as well. So excited to have her on the main roster. She brings, like, I can't even really explain it. She brings an aura every time she walks in, and the matches she had, like her and Ivy Nile was amazing. What?
Yeah, she is. I definitely think that they are testing her out to see how she works on the main roster. I would not be surprised at all if she drops the NXT Women's Championship at Battleground and she comes right up.
Oh, she's ready made for main roster. Like there's nothing they need to do with her to get her main roster ready.
No.
What are you doing here? Yeah, here. This is what her second week, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not, talking out of turn, but she was wearing not your average Mark colors. I just would like to throw that out there. Not saying we had anything to do with that, but I'm not saying we're not, it's a thing. But no, she and Ivy had one hell of a match, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. This is probably the best I've seen out of Ivy Nile in a while.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Ivy definitely showed out, and that was a big match for her. And I feel like that too was probably a test. And if it was a test, I think she passed it with flying colors. She did great.
She did. She did an awesome job. So I have a question. This question is for one Pat McAfee. Pat, what are you doing? Pat McAfee stands up on the announce table, has an impassioned speech. That's how he sounded, and he had a match made for Backlash with Gunther.
Yep.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Pat must be ready. Pat must be ready to go on vacation because he's not leaving on his own 2 feet. He's getting stretchered out of St. Louis.
Oh, there's no way he doesn't.
No, yeah, Gunther is gonna murder him. He's dead meat. He's dead meat.
J-Rib has it exactly right. His emotions wrote a check, and his ass can't cash it. Like it's gonna be a slaughter. But I don't know. I'm wondering what are they trying to do with the Pat McAfee brand?
I don't know. I have a thought in my head, and I don't know that I have enough information to really put the thought out there. I would be very interested to know where Raw is the night after Backlash in St. Louis, because I'm wondering if he murders McAfee and it's really, really bad, and then he chooses to go after somebody else the next night, that might be the doorway for Goldberg to come in so that they can build to that retirement match.
You know what? I'd be okay with that.
So I'm wondering where they're going to be the next night. Like if they were going to be, if they happen to have been anywhere in Georgia the next night, then I would immediately be like, yeah, we're getting Goldberg.
I'll have to do some looking into that. See, because I think they have the schedule up, so we can figure that one out. The last segment, of course, Sammy comes out and says, you know, you're my friend. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. And we've been friends, and you know I love you. And our kids play together. You know, Seth talks about whenever Rue was born, I was scared to death and didn't know what to do. And you were my phone call because I didn't know what to do. And I don't want to see you get hurt. And Sammy says, as long as you've been my friend, have you ever known me to run away?
Yeah.
And this is classic Sammy, 100%. So I enjoyed the fact they did that. Of course, that unleashes Braun Breaker. They have a match, and my favorite part of that match has to be the way Seth sold everything during the match. That is not the Seth Rollins we're used to seeing. It was such a good sell.
Yeah. It was. And the end of the match was really good. The little talk that Seth had with Braun and then turned around and curb stomped Sammy. That was all very, very well done. Very well done.
It was. I enjoyed that, and I like the direction they're going with Seth. I like that Sammy's getting in the middle of this. Jello says Kansas City, Missouri is where we're at after Backlash.
Does Goldberg have any connection to Kansas City at all?
I'll have to do some checking. All right. So another solid A performance for Raw. I was good with it. I thought it was a great show. Okay, A-. Are you good with that? Critics everywhere.
I think that's fine. To me, I mean, anything with an A in it, I think would describe the show. That you just had SmackDown and Raw were just two really good shows back to back.
No, I agree. And that, of course, is going to bring us in. I'm hoping Patrick's at his computer. That brings us to our next segment in the show, which is Notes from the Clown Show. You're good.
We're back, and there's no Guapo. There you are.
Here I am. Sorry, my co-host
roast Tony Khan, dude. Roast him.
Oh, I plan on it. Explain something to me. If you're Tony Khan, you have timeless Toni Storm. By far the best female performer they have on their roster. Why are we fighting jobbers?
Because here's why. The reason we're doing what we're doing is because we have an extremely deep women's division that we don't focus on. We have a gigantic number of women that don't make television. So everyone they have feels like a jobber. There are literally 3 women in that promotion, 3, that feel like legitimate stars. That's Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, and Athena. And that's it. And the only reason I say Mercedes is because she's still riding the Sasha Banks wave, because she's done nothing as Mercedes Moné to be labeled a star. But she still has that WWE stamp on her that makes people go, oh, okay, that's Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
So, but no, and they jobbed out Athena after what, 67 straight wins, and then she jobbed to Sasha.
Yeah.
And, you know, but they lost Mariah May, they've lost Camille, and then half their roster's hurt. There are so many girls on that roster that don't get television time. So yeah, that's why we're doing jobber matches.
It's just ridiculous to me, and I feel like even being the mark that Tony Khan is, he's got to realize the value he's got in his women's division.
No, he doesn't. Because he doesn't believe that women draw.
He's an idiot.
He doesn't believe women draw. But he won't say anything about the fact that this last week's show had an opening quarter hour of 1.6 million coming off of a sporting event, and then in the first 5-6 minutes dropped to 700,000
Wow.
because the people in the ring were the freaking Young Bucks.
I can't with the Young Bucks. That's a whole nother Notes from the Clown show. I just hate that they're doing like that. And Tony Storm, while she is at the top of that list, there is a list of very, very talented women on that roster. And I hate that they're not getting what they deserve. Because why? Because Tony Khan's a clown.
Yep.
Next one. Ricochet. Oh, Ricochet. Ricochet has said, and I feel for him, he tore at my heartstrings by saying that WWE ruined his excitement and passion for wrestling. Not that we can't tell by the way he's in the ring now, but what are we doing, Ricochet? Like, I feel like we're at a point in AEW where saying, I came from WWE and I hate WWE. We're past that. That's gone. That phase has moved on.
I find it what I find entertaining about the Ricochet comment really doesn't have anything to do with Tony Khan, but I'm going to say it anyway. What I find interesting is all of the thumbnails on YouTube and Twitter and everybody talking about that quote. All of the thumbnails have Ricochet and Triple H.
Imagine
Ricochet's
that.
Most of Ricochet's main roster time was under Vince McMahon because Triple H used him well in NXT. And then when Triple H took over the book as Ricochet was leaving, Ricochet had a front burner story on the way out, was not treated like a jobber, was taken out like literally injured. He wasn't treated like a jobber. He was even left open-ended so that he could come back. He was treated very well by Triple H.
Yes, he was.
So if he's upset about his tenure in WWE, he's upset about the time he spent under Vince McMahon. And that's fine. You can be upset. But he needs to learn, much like Moxley and several others, that when all you can do is run down your previous employer, you should forfeit your ability to come back. Like,
No,
I never want to see Jon Moxley in WWE again. I never want to see Ricochet in WWE again because those guys talk 9 miles of shit about a promotion that paid them and utilized them in ways that allowed them to now have a better job in their mind, a better job. Because, but you look at guys that did, Samoa Joe hasn't run down WWE, Bryan Danielson hasn't run down WWE, but man, those guys, Ricochet is sad. He's sad and he's pathetic.
He is. And, I agree with him that he does lack excitement and passion for wrestling, and everything he does in the ring and on the mic, including that stupid laugh, screams it.
Well, I hope that he's happy in AEW because I'd like for him to stay there. So,
yes. And we've got Mike saying no more Cope either. I'm on the fence with Cope. I'm not the biggest fan of the direction he's going, but I don't think he's really talked any shit about WWE. He just kind of moved into AEW, and I feel it's one of those things where, and I don't remember if he left under Vince, right? Or did he leave under?
He did. He left right as the transition was taking place.
Well, I feel like there's a good possibility he sat in office with Vince and Trips both, and they said, look, go to AEW.
Oh, they did.
Make your money, then come back. We'll throw you in the Hall of Fame. Everything's good.
He had the same discussion that Mark Henry had, that Christian had, that Big Show had. He had the same discussion that all those guys had. Yes, we don't have anything for you. Go get your money. And now today I heard that WWE has actively dropped their claim to the Edge trademark.
Really?
So he's probably going to get that trademark, and he'll probably be Edge again.
Wow.
And if he's going to have the Edge name, there's no reason to go back.
True. Very true. Well, I mean, the Hall of Fame, but
he's already in the Hall of Fame.
I know, but they're doing matches now, and you can't have a WrestleMania Hall of Fame match without including TLC, and you can't have TLC without Edge and Christian. At least one of them has to be there to represent.
Well, the Hardys and the Dudleys could walk out with cardboard stand-ups of Edge and Christian, and
I might be all right with that. That would be good.
Or you could just have R-Truth come out and talk for them.
I mean, he can go like this.
He can do the 5 second.
For those with the benefit of flash photography. I love it. Jello saying no Monet, no Saraya, no Jericho.
Oh, we're getting Saraya back. Paige is coming back.
Yeah, 100%. There has to be kind of a thing with Albert Del Rio that's got to happen with the AAA thing. We got to make sure we're scheduling to keep them apart from each other.
I think as soon as that belt comes off Alberto, I think he's out of there.
I think you're probably right. So, last thing. Since we're talking about Cope, I couldn't help but laugh listening to him talk about what happens after he has a match. He says it takes him 3 days to start walking correctly again. And then he goes through the entire human metamorphosis, getting out of bed. Like, he's the day after the match, he sits up and, has that Cro-Magnon feel. And then, he moves on to where he's, caveman and can kind of move and grunt. And then finally makes it to human a couple days later. But he says, I hate to be the one to tell you this. That's not experience. That Cope, that's called getting old.
It's also called when you're old, maybe we don't jump off the tops of cages.
But he doesn't get that. Why? Because much like Tony Khan, Cope is a clown.
He kind of.
He's a clown at the clown show.
Yeah.
That's sad. I'm so sad. That's what I was just fixing to say. I'm so sad when I look at Cope because I remember how much I enjoyed Edge and Christian. I remember how much I enjoyed Edge's run as the Rated R Superstar. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And I see him now, I'm like, oh.
I'm sad that you call him Cope.
I refuse to call him Edge.
Look, I'm not calling him Edge either. I'm calling him Adam Copeland. I refuse to call him that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is ridiculous.
How do you think that conversation went? Can't be Edge. They've got the trademark on that. I can be Adam Copeland, but nobody wants to be called by their whole name. Can't be Adam because we've already got an Adam. And Copeland doesn't sound good.
He could have been Damian Stryker, and he could have been Sexton Hardcastle.
I would have popped for him to be Sexton Hardcastle. I'm not gonna lie. I would have popped at that one. I thought I would have been okay with that. That would have been way less clowny. Right. On that note, that is the end of Notes from the Clown Show. So we've got a segment online that we do now. Every Wednesday we have Wrestling Talk Wednesday, and we bring forth a question that Rick has made me has let me know that I need to change my questions a little bit because they have essay answers. The question for Wrestling Talk Wednesday was, who is the most underrated, currently rostered talent in professional wrestling?
Which, in my opinion, I'm going to need the definition of underrated, because I guarantee you that if you grab 10 fans out of a show and ask them what underrated means to them, you're going to get 10 different answers.
No, absolutely, you will. And here's my definition of it. If you have a talent that is in a rut because of the way they are being utilized, that you know could be much, much better. For instance, if you have a tag team and you know somebody in that tag team could do much better as a singles wrestler, they are being underrated. If they are not moving as they should through the ranks, if they're a 12-year jobber and you know they're better than that, that is underrated. According to J-Rev, 100%, I am the most underrated star in professional wrestling. Say I'm not currently rostered. Huh? Me.
You?
Me. J-Rev said it. I didn't say it.
Okay.
See, while I appreciate that, J-Rev, I'm not currently rostered. And the question was about currently rostered people. So I'll give you an example. For me, it's Akira Tozawa. And we kind of talked about this a little bit. I like Akira Tozawa. I like the comedy stuff that he does. The dance that he does, all this stuff he's doing with Otis. But he could do so much more. Like he could do the Japanese buzzsaw. He could be that intense. And I feel like the crowd would grab onto that. Can you imagine if they decide to start doing intergender wrestling? They start doing the mixed tags, Akira Tozawa and Asuka, or Akira Tozawa and Kairi Sane, Akira Tozawa and Io Sky.
You're going to get canceled for putting all the Asians together. You can't do that.
I can't put them together because their styles are the same. Don't be trying to get me canceled. It's a style thing. It's not a race thing. Okay.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean, Akira Tozawa could definitely be more. I don't know how much more. I mean, when you talk about the way that you defined it, I think of people like Tommaso Ciampa. I think of Montez Ford. I think of JD McDonough. Those are all people that, while they are featured fairly well and they are treated pretty well in their current spot, oh my God, they could do so much more. Mm-hmm. They could do so much more.
I'm going to throw one at you that you may disagree with, and I will preface it with it may fall more underutilized as opposed to underrated. But in my opinion, Finn Balor needs to get away from the Judgment Day because he could do so much more as just Finn Balor.
But you know as well as I do that if Finn Balor leaves the Judgment Day and is on his own, it is only a matter of time before it's 24/7 Demon.
Where you say that like that's a bad thing.
But again, it's like my point with the Tozawa thing. He could absolutely be the Japanese buzzsaw for a little bit, and then it's just the Japanese buzzsaw over and over and over again. So where do we go? What's next? You know, you get Finn out there as the demon one time. Oh, that's cool. 2 weeks in a row. Okay. Get to the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And then the next time you see him for the 8th or 9th time, it's like, okay, demon.
You, Rick, I have been in some of your booking meetings. I know you know this better than that. You don't bring him out and give him he's the demon and next week he's the demon. No. You build him up as Finn Balor, put him in his damn blue trunks and his jacket if you want to. I don't care. You have him as Finn Balor and you write him into a story that certain things happen, and the more you push, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Bam, demon.
That's very true.
There in the background
and while that's true, that is not always the way that it goes.
True.
I'm just saying I know that utilized. It's the way it should go. It's the way it should go. But I think it's more likely that if the demon pops up and everybody's excited, we're just going to get the demon again and again and again because they popped for it.
Well, that's just it. You pop them with it. You have whatever needs to happen to bring out the demon, and you pop him for it, and you put the demon away, and he's got it under control, and I'm okay.
And that's exactly the way that it should be. That's exactly what it should be. And he would be a good one. He would be a good one to say, he can absolutely do more. He can absolutely do more. It was hard for me to wrap my brain around the way that the question was asked online because it felt like a 9-page thesis.
And so it's one I would read too.
Well, I don't have time to write all that down.
So. And I do like what you said about Tez, because I feel like Tez could do. I don't mind the Profits as a tag team; they're great. I like them. They have good chemistry. They work well together. But I could see Tez singles main event. I could see Dawkins singles in the mid card. I mean, at the top of the mid card, at that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see them running through singles, but I don't necessarily know that they're underrated. Like I would like to see them doing singles, but they do well as a tag team as well.
If you gave each guy a chance to have a full year on their own with good booking and injury-free, can you tell me how cool a one-on-one at Mania with Montez Ford versus Tommaso Ciampa could be?
Good Lord. That would be a banger match.
I mean, as much as I like Johnny Gargano and as much as I like Antonio Dawkins, they drag down Montez Ford and Tommaso Ciampa.
They do. I mean, I have never been a DIY fan, and I'm not gonna lie. While I didn't mind them in NXT, they were really, really good in NXT. I wasn't that big a Gargano fan when he was in NXT, but I've always liked Ciampa. So I feel like Gargano holds Ciampa back. I feel like being the tag team holds the Profits back some.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Otis Tozawa thing holds Tozawa back some. I feel like Maxine Dupree, just the whole Alpha Academy thing, that should be done. Because I feel like Maxine Dupree is at a spot where she could take off. And we've got the women's roster for her to do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at on that.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm looking over at the chat, and of course, Karrion Kross was brought up. And you had an interesting take. We talked about this yesterday, I believe. You had an interesting take on Karrion Kross.
I don't think Kross is underutilized, nor is he undervalued or underrated. I think Kross, he's on TV every week. Mm-hmm. Kross is in a segment every week. He is developing his character. At the same time, he is influencing the development of other characters. Cross is a very important cog in the developmental character wheel right now. He gets a match every once in a while, but that's because Cross is the kind of character he doesn't need a match every week.
True.
Cross doesn't need to be in the ring wrestling every week. Cross is far more the devil on somebody's shoulder. He's the puppet master that's in people's head. He needs to be utilized in a verbal way, in a storyline way, and then try to pay it off with a match. But he doesn't need to be out there every week. He's being featured well, and he's being utilized in a lot of different stories. He's all over the place. He's touching all kinds of characters. He's very important right now, and that's a testament to not only how hard he works, but to how much he's valued in the creative.
No, and I agree with that. And there are some times that I've had the chance to look back on it, maybe change my mind a little bit. But for a while there, it was like, okay, very start and stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop on the people that Karrion Kross was talking to. And looking back on it,
well, that happens. It happens. People get hurt. People leave. People's creative changes. I mean, but the thing is that if he's this floating evil demon that is in people's heads, he doesn't have to talk to the same guy every week.
That's very
because if you go back and you look, every single character that Karrion Kross has touched in the last 2 years has eventually turned heel. Every single one of them.
Very true. And let's not
the only two that haven't are AJ and Sammy.
And Ray.
But Ray lost his son. He didn't turn heel, but he was negatively affected by Karrion Kross.
Right. Well, and he
slapped his son.
He told him he was going to. That's the other part of this that I hope they go back to is he has foreshadowed everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I've always been interested in that storyline, and I hope they continue with it. And it's genius booking to me in the fact that he's foreshadowing everything that they're doing without saying, "Hey, told you this was going to happen. Hey, remember when I said this?" Like, you have to pay attention. So I'd really enjoy that. Let's see. Mike's asking, I'd like to know the opinion of y'all on the heels giving the people the one more time.
Oh. Dude, I don't understand fans. I don't understand. They complain because, we're not getting consistent stories. We're not getting character work. We're not getting these matches that we want. And then when we do that stuff, you flip the freaking script and you chant for the other guy. What are you doing? You can't play along. You can't just do what we're doing what you asked us to do.
Yeah.
And now you're chanting for the bad guy to hurt the good guy. What is wrong with you? Like that, it's just like that what shit, man. It's like, guys, read the room. When someone's talking to your mother about your brother being hurt, maybe we don't want that.
Or
I mean, like, my God, that dude, I'm telling you.
Mike, you're not allowed to ask questions like that anymore.
Wrestling audiences need the snipers from the Squid Games. Like during the red light, green light, when the things open up at the top and the snipers just pop people that are moving, people chant wrong, boom, done.
I dig it. Jello saying the answer to the future is not the past.
What?
That's fair. That's Jello says.
But what are we talking about?
I'm not Jello. You're gonna have to elaborate.
You're gonna have to. I need context. If you're not wrong, but I need context.
So while we're waiting on that context, we've got about 9 minutes left, and it's time to talk about what we've got coming up. Of course, May 10th, TMW Event Center, Levelland, Texas. We do have BCW head games. That card already stacked. We've got Damo McCullough defending the Texas title against Gino Rivera. That's going to be a good match. No question about that. We've got Nefarious, that of course being TJ Slater and Atticus Wild, going up against the Guerrilla Militia, Franco D'Angelo and Big Sid. That's a whole lot of fight in that ring. He's talking about the Demon Finn.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. Yes, I agree.
One of the matches I'm looking forward to in that is we've got Nathan Zane versus Jason Zane versus Nathan Briggs. Look, I almost mixed them up too. This has reached its boiling point. It is a last man standing, loser leaves town match. One of them ends their road on May 10th at the TMW Event Center. And that's just part of the card. And then you turn around 2 weeks later, May 24th, and we've got Squared Circle Pro Tornado Slam, Jake's Backroom.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I've heard some things. I've heard things about getting to find out the direction things are going to go, because there's people who have a lot of questions, Rick.
Did you see the flyer that came out? Did you see what was printed at the bottom of the flyer?
I did not see what was printed at the bottom of the flyer.
It says Dawn of a New Era.
Dawn of a New Era. Okay.
And we're gonna start making announcements here pretty quick. I've already really kind of spoken about this in the past, but this is going to be one of the announcements we make. We're opening the event with a mandatory town hall. If you are a staff member, talent, production, if you work for SCP, your presence is required at the ring at the opening of the show, and I am going to address everyone. And everyone will have all their questions answered, and will know exactly what to expect moving forward.
And see, it's efficient. That's town hall is the best way to do that, because I do hear all sorts of questions about what happened with Rick, and is he okay? Was he, are he and TJ okay? Like, why was he yelling at the girl in the stands? Like, what's going on? So
look, I'm perfectly fine. I'm very clear. I thought I was very clear at the show. I asked TJ to meet me in the ring on the 24th of May. He will. I was yelling at Alexis because she threw garbage at me. So I put her in her place. And so I mean, I don't really understand what everyone's so been out of shape about. I don't understand why Richie needs to go online and try to make me look stupid. I don't understand why Josh felt the need to pop off behind my back like I wasn't going to hear that. I don't understand what everybody's so been out of shape about. I thought I was quite clear. But apparently people need me to be more clear. So on May 24th, they will get the clarification that they would like, and they probably won't enjoy what they're going to hear, but they're going to hear it.
Well, and I will speak as kind of a representative of the wrestling world in general that loves to watch Squared Circle Pro and loves to be a part of it. It's just a side of you that some of us, myself included, have never seen before. So I believe that's what threw people off the most, is we've never seen that Rick Elsey before.
And that's because people aren't privy to the things that I know. People aren't privy to the things that I deal with. People aren't privy to what goes on behind the scenes. They only see what they see in front of their faces. I was told by a person that I do not respect at all, but I'm very thankful for the lesson because it ended up being very real and very true. I was told back in 2007, when I first had just started, I was told by somebody that I won't name here that I would not be successful in the business trying to be everybody's friend. That I would only be successful in the business if I was an asshole. And I spent an entire career of 17 years up until 2 months ago being everybody's friend. And in the process, I feel like although I have done some things that I'm proud of, I feel like I am spinning my wheels, and maybe it's time to take that advice and do something with it. And boy, as soon as I do, the buzz starts happening, and people are talking, and people. So maybe that advice was right, but everybody's going to find out on May 24th.
Looking at the chat, and Mike says he's looking forward to the town hall and that Rick is talking big truths. So, and I too am looking for the town hall. I mean, there's no more efficient way to address all of these things that are coming than to have everybody there and say, here it is.
And I'm going to be very honest with you, John. There's going to be some things that I'm going to say on the 24th of May that people aren't going to like. I'm sure you're not going to like some of it. I'm sure Mike isn't going to like some of it. I know TJ isn't going to like some of it. But here's the thing. And I'm telling you right now, and this is recorded. This is on Twitch. This is on YouTube. People can go back and watch this, and you can tell me if I'm lying or not. Everything that I say on May 24th, and you can take this to the bank, I'm not going to tell a single lie. It's all going to be the truth. It's going to be the truth out loud. It's going to be the things we don't say out loud, finally said out loud. And if people get upset about it, maybe it's because they're the ones that are at fault, not me.
There you have it, ladies and gents. So, we're not, Rick, you and I are not always going to agree on things, but I do respect the way you handle things. And I, even knowing that, I'm looking forward to this town hall. Let's get it all out in the open and get back to the wrestling. J-Reb in the chat saying that advice can work in many professions, and he ain't wrong. He's not wrong at all. That advice does apply to way more than just wrestling. Well, we have come to that 9:28 mark, so we're going to start wrapping it up. As always, I want to give you the opportunity to speak to the people listening, the people watching, the wrestling world in general. My friend, the floor is yours.
Well, I pretty much already said what I really needed to say, so I'll just say this. If you're going to be a wrestling fan and go pay to watch a show, go watch the show and go have a good time. The show's not about you. Keep your mouth shut unless you're cheering or booing. Cheer the right people, boo the right people. It's not your show to take over. Don't be a complete dick, because I'll tell you right now, in the mood that I'm in, somebody comes to my show and acts like a complete dick. No refunds, motherfucker. You're out of here.
Damn me. That's respectable, man. I get it. And I do see that happen a lot. You know, if enjoy the show and don't cause other people to not enjoy the show. It is a wonderful, wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. I can't remember a better time in my lifetime. In my 45 years, I can't remember a better time in professional wrestling than right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the opportunity to go see WWE, go see WWE. If you have the opportunity to go see AEW, I'm sorry. Especially if you have the opportunity to see independent wrestling. Here's the deal about independent wrestling. I've said it since we started this podcast. It's my drug. Take what you see on television and give it the exact same energy without all the makeup and all the glitz and glamour and cameras and commercials, but just as much energy, and you're closer to it. And it's a feeling that you won't get anywhere else. So if you're in this area, May 10th, BCW Head Games, TMW Event Center in Levelland. May 24th, Squared Circle Pro Tornado Slam. Opening it up with a town hall that sounds like it's going to get a little wild. but if you're in these areas, yes, be here for those, because you're not going to find finer independent wrestling in West Texas. If you're not in this area, though, I guarantee you there is within 50 miles of you an independent promotion. I don't care where you are.
If I had a dime for every person who didn't like wrestling on television that came to an independent show and walked away still not liking wrestling, I would have no dimes.
Exactly. You cannot come to an independent wrestling show and not leave having taken something from it. It's my drug, and I like it a lot. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Rick, thank you for being on the show. As always, it is a pleasure to have you on. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are the reason we do this. Thank you so much for giving us a platform to talk wrestling with you every week. I hope to see each and every one of you back here tomorrow night, because we're going to do some SmackDown. Have a watch along over on Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord, I can't talk. If you're not a part of the Discord yet, go to the About section as soon as we sign off, or go to any of our socials. You can find a link to get there. We have a lot of fun. We watch some wrestling. It's a good time. We will be back here next Thursday with the one and only Mike Caldwell to talk BCW head games before the show. Until then, I am Guapo. That's Rick Elzy. We're not your average marks. Catch y'all next week. Yeah.